How's it going, folks? It's Rob here. This week's clip is just a little bit of a catch me up for everyone, just letting you know how far the renovations have come so far. I mean, they only started on Tuesday, but I thought I'd give you a bit of a look. I actually came down yesterday to film pretty much a bit of a look for the folks who do the paid subscriptions on YouTube and also patrons, but unfortunately for whatever reason I kept missing a couple of frames out of the video I took. So I don't know what happened there, but I thought what I'd do is I'd shoot a more comprehensive one. Those folks can check it out first for a day or two, and then it'll become live on YouTube for everyone else to suss out. So to begin with, I'm really disappointed I missed the film from yesterday, because I tried to get some really schmicko B-roll of the coffee and flower down here behind me. So we'll start with that, then I'll give you a bit of a look around the yard. So this is our little coffee bush. And as you can see, there were loads of flowers on it. Yesterday they were all fresh and in bloom, and today we've got a couple of hangers on, just blooming a little bit late. And you can see that little fella down there, and a couple of nice little open ones down here. But yeah, it looked rather spectacular. I did take a couple of photos, but it still doesn't do it justice. It was looking very pretty indeed. I've got no berries on here at the moment either. I took them all off. So they've all been processed, just fermenting off the fruits in a bowl of water. I didn't get around to making any of the berry tea, or cherry tea I should say. Some people were recommending I try to dry out the little coffee cherries themselves, the flesh, and turn them into a tea. But yeah, that didn't happen. I thought I'd just give you a bit of a look down the back here at the other bits and pieces going on. We have the papaya, a bit hard to see with the way the sun's setting at the moment. Down in this bed here is a turmeric and warrigal green bed, as well as the papaya that was a volunteer. This papaya I'm actually thinking about chopping back. As you can see, I have to keep it strung in place at the moment. Thinking about chopping it back because we do have the little side branches coming through, and it'll just make it sit a little bit more stable in the bed here. See if I can try and get only the branches growing this side to take off, and that way it'll sort of stabilize it a bit. The warrigal greens in here, they're just volunteers. They're going gangbusters. There's at least a meal and a half, if not two, warrigal green pastas in there. And down below there are some turmeric, just a little bit slow to shoot. And we'll be getting a load of these little Egyptian spinach coming up all around the place as well. Over the back there is our galangal. We just let it die back over winter. I didn't water it, mainly because I want to remove that bed there. And this bed over here, this one had some more warrigal greens pop up in it, so I just fed it with a little bit of compost for now, and I'll worry about digging these guys out once we get the renovations done. The reason why I didn't mind these guys drying out is because the roots are just going to stay dormant for a while, and I can harvest them and give them away or use them, powder them, whatever I want. But I've also got 3 other batches of galangal on the grow, and these beds, as you can see, are lined with plastic, and they're a bit of a dodgy build to begin with, so I just want to get rid of them. Just this little wicking barrel full of the turmeric. This is what was sold to us as the Madras turmeric. Charles over on Patreon was asking about that. G'day Charles. He's a bit of a ginger nut like myself. So not a redhead, that is. He's into his gingers and turmerics. Pardon me. But this one here was sold to us as the Madras turmeric. What I plan on doing with this one is treating it as a chop and drop crop. We'll use it as a bit of a green wall, a bit of a hedge, enjoy the white flowers when they're out, then chop it and then just drop it. The reason being is we find these rhizomes a little bit bitter than the more traditional orange turmeric that we've been growing for years. So that's why I figured I'll just leave that as an ornamental, because we have more than enough of the other plants growing. And just to show you, here's some more Egyptian spinach volunteers just coming up by themselves. They'll pretty much all carpet this whole area down here. There's a whole heap of them down there because we had plants, as you can see, the seed pod's still left over there. So they're just going to pop up everywhere. And yes, our place is a tragic mess at the moment. This is a wicking bed that needs to come out. There's the chicken coop, and we have bits and pieces stored everywhere from underneath the house because we are renovating. And the reason being, and there's the hoop house tunnel there with a whole heap of drums and bits and pieces, some old worm farms, and this is the proposed chook pen area. So as you can see, if we had the chickens in here and if I had these gardens going, these beds in particular this season, I'd have virtually nowhere to store this stuff. As it is, we're paying rent on a new property. We're renting a very small storage shed, And if I was to try and store all this, I mean, it's just too expensive. That's pretty much why we keep holding off on stuff and not progressing much with the redesign of the backyard. It's just sheer economics of trying to keep everything we've got in one place. But that's enough of me whinging. Down here we have the bananas. These are some of the bananas from the root pouch I ripped when I tried to drag it from its side. Pick up root pouches by handles, people. I did take one of these guys out, and it's a sucker in a tray over with some other root pouches, but these guys are taking off. I'm very, very tempted to stick some sort of a border around here, fill it with some compost like the stuff I threw in the wicking bed down the back, and just grow a banana mound here just to see what would happen. I mean, it'll be easy enough to pull it out. Just over here, I'll show you our sunshine chilies. We've got the last of last season's down there, the bits and pieces that grew through winter. So we're still picking a few of them as we need them. And all this old growth will be coming off because we have all this new growth over the back here. And on a lot of that, we've got fruit already appearing. So even though we're just not even midway through spring. So yeah, really happy with that. And down here we have some black turmeric that has sprouted. So it's come back nicely. There's actually a few leaves. There's another one just there that's coming through. So really chuffed about that. And I haven't forgotten you, mate. There is something coming to thank you for sending me the black turmeric. It just may take a little bit longer. The aquaponics. As you can see, we've got a lot of Okinawan spinach here at the moment. This grow bed here actually isn't hooked up. There is no water flowing into there. This is all growing over from a plant just in the back corner of that bed there. And she's absolutely brimming with greenery and a little bit of purple too. So I'm really impressed with the way it's going, seeing as there's no fish in there. We're still harvesting chard, the Okinawan spinach. I was going to get some of the Brazilian spinach the other day, but there wasn't enough really for a whole meal. And we got some thyme down in here. I actually pulled out the tomato suckers I put in here because they're a variety we didn't want. And the broccoli is still giving us heads all the way into spring. So yeah, that's just one little tip. You can check it out on that little clip up there. But when you're growing broccoli, don't pull the plant out after you get the first head. If you do that, you're wasting all these side shoots, which I've found will actually supply you with more of a harvest than the main head themselves. The Brahmi's just gone absolutely burko. I need to take that back. And down here on the beetroot, we have some very nice bulbs forming down there. And if we weren't going to have high 30s on the weekend, I'd probably harvest them for a bit of a roast. So we've got a few nice little size ones down in there. Just to show you how I'm running the show at the moment, I have an extension lead coming down our border fence with Pauline, and it's running into the power board in here. And because of the length of the lead, we're really having a few issues. It was explained to me because the lead's over 50 meters long, we're getting a drop of power coming through. So it's not running the water pump at full capacity. That's how it was explained to me. So what I've had to do is add in an air stone into the moving bed biofilter, because for the last 2 days she was just standing still, and that is not very good at all. If there's not a lot of oxygen getting in there, what can happen is you can end up with an anoxic environment. Anaerobic bacteria can set up shop in there, and even the good guys can start robbing the oxygen from the NO3, creating NO2, which is nitrite. And yeah, if you've got fish in the system, not very good at all. And we'll just say hello to Mr. Mantis. Hey, where are you going, Mr. Mantis? So we are starting to see some good bugs around the yard again. Now things are warming up, and also some bad ones as well. I did notice some grasshoppers over on one of these chard leaves earlier on. He was having a bit of a munch in that hole there. Yeah, so that's a bit of a look at just the aquaponics and a few bits and pieces down the back. And our very messy hoop house. Something I just noticed, which I didn't the other day, is we're getting a second flush of lime flowers. Wow. I've been so busy walking down the back here loading up the hoop house, I hadn't noticed we got a second flush. And as you can see, the previous flush has set not loads of fruit, but there are a few fruit on there. And some more over here. So, where are we? Down there. So that's pretty sweet. So just to give you a bit of a look at where the renovations are up to at the moment, we have no stairs. We've got no back stairs, nothing coming down here, nothing going down the front. and they managed to pull out the concrete slab that was our laundry. It had 60 centimetre or 2 foot deep rat walls all around the base. So it took them over a day just to get that out. We can actually hear them from where we're living at the moment. Yeah, so what we're looking at here is, I'm fairly sure that level there will be the base of where they're going to pour the slab, and the slab will come up from there. And the house still needs to be raised 800 millimetres. And we're just going through all the rigmarole with the power providers, because we have the power supply company and the lines and wires company, and neither of them want to talk to me because my name's not on the bill. Only Bianca's, so she sorted that out this afternoon. But yeah, it's good to see it finally done. Inside the house is cleared out. It's in the shed, or we've moved it just around the corner to where we're living. So yeah, that's where we're up to so far. We'll just finish on one last look at this awesomely lush aquaponic system. Not bad considering there's no fish in there. I thought I'd just give you one last look in case she doesn't survive the renovations. But anyway, I better zip it and get to watering the patch. One last thing though before I go. If you are interested in the Venturis and the Uniseals that we use to connect pipes and bits and pieces to the system, I am still selling them through the website. There will be a link below, and also a little button that comes up here at the end of the clip. Also selling the awesome Queensland nut busters for Queensland nuts or macadamia nuts, walnuts, and a few different nuts. It's an awesome little bit of kit. Thank you very much again to Nigel for letting me sell them for him. And before I go, I really do need to thank you awesome YouTube member subscribers and also Patreon subscribers. Thank you very much for sticking with us while the channel's just slowing down a little bit while we're renovating. And as always, you can find the list of our super contributors down in the description below. It'd be absolutely fantastic if you could pop over to their websites and their Facebook pages and show them some love. Tell them Rob sent ya. But I will pretty much zip it and go and fill up these root pouch trays before the sun sets. I do hope you're all well and happy. Have a top one, folks. Cheers.